Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. So I got Pokemon Shield, and obviously it's got a lot of controversy surrounding it. The national decks and a lot of the textures, and people talk about the animations. I've had it for a few days now, and what do I think? I love it. It's so good. It's not perfect, but I'm so excited to play more and to compete in it. I think it's great. When the game first starts, they just throw you in and introduce you to the spectacle of the Galar region, and you meet Chairman Rose and the champion Leon, and then you're quickly introduced to the gyms again. They're back. They made it very clear that the gyms are back. And the gym battles are better than ever, and I'll get more into that later. The early template is the same as in every other Pokemon game. You start off in a sort of small town, you pick your starter, and then you go off on your adventure, and that's how it begins. And I picked Sobble because I think he was the best of the three. I think that's undisputable. However, this is the first time since I think the third generation where I've gone into a new Pokemon generation relatively spoiler free, and I didn't know any of the evolutions, any of the second evolutions or the final evolutions for any of them. So it was kind of cool learning who they were going to evolve into. A big point of contention for this game coming in was the graphics. How do they look? Were they just basically a 3DS game? And it does look like an upscaled 3DS game. And in handheld mode, it can really suffer at times and the textures can be a bit blurry. But no matter what, the battles, the animations, and the graphics, it all looks crisp. It all looks really good in battles. And when your Switch is docked and on the TV, the whole game looks actually quite nice. The Pokemon animations in battle look relatively decent. A lot of the characters in the overworld, the human characters, look a bit stiff, like they'll turn completely around to face you and it looks sort of unnatural, but it's not overall necessary, but it would have been nice if it was a bit more smooth. My hopes for the next Pokemon generation is adding full voice acting, or even partial voice acting. Even adding your character's voice encouraging your Pokemon every so often when they battle would add a ton of character. In 2019, the omission of voice acting or even just single words when interacting with characters makes the game feel a bit more empty. People may sometimes hate on gibberish audio when characters speak in games like Okami and some Zelda games, but it's hard to argue that they don't add a lot of personality. I think that Pokemon is long overdue for those audio additions. You have a few rivals in this game. Sort of like Gen 6, X and Y, you had quite a few rivals. You got Hop, who's the younger brother to the champion Leon, and he's pretty nice, which is every rival in recent generations has been pretty nice. But then you get the jerk rival this time. It's great to have him back. He was endorsed by the chairman and he never fails to tell you that, and he always tells you he's so much better than you, and it's great. It just makes it way more enjoyable beating him. You don't really care when you beat Hop, but beating this guy, it's just a lot more fun. As for the champion, you meet him pretty early on. He's super kind and he does this Charizard pose, but he's also absurdly arrogant and keeps reminding everyone that he's undefeated. I don't think that Game Freak is trying to make him arrogant. I think they're just trying to build up the stakes for you when you eventually challenge him. He's also super bad with directions, they say, and I kind of like that they included that sort of thing. It kind of brings him back down to earth. And the gym battles in this are an absolute spectacle. They're in these soccer stadiums because the Galar region is essentially based after the United Kingdom. You have to go through trials just like every previous generation's gyms in order to challenge the gym leader. And those actually have quite a bit of diversity. In the first gym, you have to herd the sheep. And in the third gym, the fire gym, you actually have to catch Pokemon and catch more than your rivals. But then when you challenge the gym leaders, it's actually really well done. The music starts off pretty low and tame, and you could hear the crowd chanting and singing their songs just like a soccer stadium. And as the battle goes on, they get louder and louder, and just like in Black and White, when you get to the final Pokemon, the music sort of changes. In this sense, the crowd gets much more fully involved with it, and they're chanting and cheering, and it's pretty great. Just watch and listen to this. Dynamaxing is a pretty solid mechanic, and you can only do it in a few places, including the gym battles. I feel like it's relatively balanced, that you could only have them Dynamax for 3 turns, and I feel like in competitive play, like the move Protect is going to be so valuable because you'll be able to waste 2 of those turns potentially Protect, and then something else the next move, and then Protect the 3rd move. It's going to be interesting. The wild area is a huge new feature to the game. The Switch has been sort of a generation for Nintendo to do more open world games. Obviously Breath of the Wild, and then Mario Odyssey, you could take on the moons in any order. It's pretty cool going around to all the places in the wild area, and they all have their own weather conditions and different types of Pokemon. I'm excited for Pokemon Home to come out because I want to try to complete a whole Pokedex of every Pokemon from the mainline games and everyone from Pokemon Go. Just have 2 complete Pokedexes. That's just my weird thing. I don't know. Your new bike that you have in this, it's a Rotom Bike. Much like Gen 7, you have another Rotom Pokedex, except for this time it's in your smartphone, essentially. And then you could have a bike and have Rotom go in there, and you could get speed bursts, and it seems pretty good. You just press plus or minus to use it, so it's fast. You could also upgrade your bike in the wild area by collecting the watts from those sort of raid areas where you could find strong Pokemon and do raid battles with people from online or on your own. And you're against a Pokemon that's Dynamax the whole time. And then you have a chance to catch him after. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, but you could see a lot of players from around the world in the wild area. It's kind of laggy and jittery, but it's still kind of a cool inclusion, I think. Another one of your pseudo-rivals is Marnie, and the evil team this time around is called Team Yell, and they're the least evil, most good-natured Pokemon team ever, and I love them. They're so fantastic. They're so comedically perfect. They want Marnie to win the gym challenge and become champion, so they want to tire out all the other gym challengers, and they want her to win, and they want to go on and do these good deeds. And they present it in such a funny and good-natured and cute way. I really like the style of the Galar region. Like I said, based on the UK, a lot of Scottish vibes, and just the castles and the old towns and the steampunk aesthetic. It's really cool. They've added a lot of quality of life improvements also. You get the escape rope as a key item, and you could use it unlimited times. You can customize the menu to whatever way you want it to be. And lastly, I know that I've been going on about how much I love this game. It's not perfect, but for a Pokemon fan, pretty incredible. And by the time they make the Diamond and Pearl remake, I know they're going to have the national dex. So I'm just enjoying the Pokemon that are in this now. And a lot of the new Pokemon I really like. I like how a lot of the Galar forms of the Pokemon aren't exclusively Gen 1. And all of the completely new Pokemon that I've seen, I like almost all of them. I think this is the best generation of new designed creatures since Generation 4. Anyway, this is just my early impressions of the game. I really want to do a ranking video of every new Pokemon. I think it's great. I think they're really good, and I'd like to do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like Pokemon, because it's pretty great.